Formosa, Ontario to South Africa.
It was a journey and an experience for sure.
Jody Benninger is back from an 8-month trip, but it wasn't a vacation. The 28-year-old went to South Africa and Zambia as an HIV counselor through the Canadian International Development Agency.
The situation is extremely dire because the province I was in, Haven, and one of the issues that they're facing in the future is they don't have enough burial land to bury the amount of people that are dying from the epidemic.
Jody felt she could help by bringing information on HIV and teaching the locals about safe sex. When she got to South Africa, she encountered more than she expected.
Because of apartheid, I was not trusted, and the information I gave, it was really questioned a lot.
She overcame those obstacles by passing information to the locals through her Zulu co-workers.
And you can't blame the Zulus or the Xhosa or the Tswana people. You can't blame them because it's a regime that they've grown up with, and it's only ended 10 years ago, and it was brought on by people of my race.
For her own protection, Jody carried a weapon. The experience has convinced her not to go back to South Africa.
And I kind of came back, I should say, with like a fresh set of eyes.
But she is looking forward to exploring other parts like West Africa. It was an experience that changed her forever. The 28-year-old first started her career as an HIV counselor in Ottawa at a transition home for people living and dying of AIDS. TV's Nadia Matos. One of Canada's last remaining veterans from the First World War has died. Victor Lloyd Clement was one of 3 surviving men who served in the Canadian Armed Forces during the First World War. Clement was 16 years old when he enlisted in 1916. He was sent to war after just 3 weeks of training to serve in England and France. Clement died at the age of 107. A private funeral service will be held for family and close friends.
A group of Canadian artists is calling on the Premier to protect Ontario's boreal forest. The 11 artists, including singer Sarah Farmer and author Jan Martel, say such a move would help prevent climate change. They expressed their concerns to the Premier in a letter. The forest extends north from the top of the Great Lakes, and the coalition said many parts of the forest are designated for logging, which would threaten wildlife and destroy one of Ontario's best defenses against global warming.
Federal Finance Minister Jim Flaherty is taking it to the banks. He's written a pointed letter to the senior executives of Canada's big banks about their ABM service charges. The Globe and Mail says Flaherty wants the banks to consider discounts they can offer seniors and students. Before Christmas, the finance minister asked banks to justify their fees. Last month, he publicly rejected their first attempt to rationalize the charges, suggesting they try harder. It's believed that Canada's major banks are preparing options to lower the cost of